I think we lost him.
Stupid dragon. Boards. We're going to work on some boards today. Here's some we did earlier that are looking pretty good. Some of the room's still incomplete. We're still grinding on it. Here's a board we'll be painting in a few minutes to show you how that's done. But first, let's show you how we got to this stage. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to learn how we do the wood boards. Insulation, standard insulation. You get these from one of the box stores. About $10 for a pack of 5. For our boards, what we're going to do is we're going to cut ours about 1/3 into sections of 1/3. Now, you can use different sizes. Basically, go with a half. You can do a full board if you want to, whatever looks best for you. Our wall, we decided that the 1/3 is going to be best. Pocket knife. Careful with these, obviously. Semi-straight cut. You can add some curves in it to give it character. We got our 3 pieces. Rub the edges dry. So, doesn't look like wood yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a dark brown or a black. I'm using a very dark brown here, an espresso brown. We're going to put down a first layer. Any exposed edge is going to get a layer of this dark. Now the paint is going to start to eat away on the foam as well, so it's going to give it a little textured effect. So let's get a nice dark coating on here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing in this has to be perfect. The more imperfect things are, the more realistic they look. All right, this is the start of a wood beam. Now, what I did, I made some up earlier. I'm going to show you how I did the top coat on this. So here's one of the pieces we did. Here's one I made earlier. So what we're going to do now is this is covered with the espresso, the really dark brown. And here that's white, I'm going to spray in a pattern going downward. Going to cover those lighter sections with this brown. Again, sort of randomly. A little bit of randoms around the edges. And there we have it so far. A somewhat woodish looking panel. Once we get a little more details on these will look fantastic. All right, we're back downstairs. And here's that board we were looking at earlier that we're going to work on. And I'm going to show you how we detail these. So we already have the dark background, the black, or the espresso that we used. We have the brown on top. You can still see we have some white area and not much detail. So get a big brush. You can use a brush this wide if you want. It doesn't matter. Take a container, some brown acrylic paint. Standard, old, basic brown acrylic paint. Fire some in. Mix it with about 50% water. Stir it up with your big brush. Dab it off. You don't want it running all over the place. And just give some light brushes, focusing especially on the white areas. If it gets on the wall, just rub your finger down it and get rid of it. What's nice too is if you have any sides or anything that's exposed and you need to cover up, just give it a cover up with this. And you're good to go. Covering up our little inconsistencies. There we go. Next step, we're going to get our bolts on here. All right, I'm going to apologize ahead of time on this because you guys aren't going to get a full view of my beautiful face. Got bad lighting in here. This whole thing's going to be terrible, but we're going to go ahead anyway. So what we need: scissors, painter's tape, an empty box, piece of wood, anything scrap that you don't mind getting paint all over, a couple strips of the foam. What we're going to do here is we're going to be building the nails for the boards. So first things first, it's going to be our painting surface. We're going to take some blue painter's tape. We're going to figure out where the end of it is. We're going to cut some strips just over the length of the box. We're going to fold down the end, tape it on. Got to fold down the end and tape it on. So what we want is sticky side up. We're going to repeat this quite a few times. So we'll just do that little Zoom stuff we do, and I'll get back to you in a couple minutes. All right, we now have a tape-covered box. What I like to do is just secure it a little bit more. We'll take a piece of tape and go face down here along the edge. Just stops it all from pulling up while you're working with it. Makes life a little bit easier. All right, sticky side up, secured. Next, let's put this aside. We're going to sit here. We're going to take our foam, our scissors, and we're going to cut out a bunch of little squares. What we'll eventually do with these squares is we're going to round off the corners. Get them somewhat circular-ish. And as we cut them, we're going to take them and we're going to stick them face up on our sticky tape. Ta-da! There we go. Now, let's get these painted. All right, so for painting, grab whatever you got. I happen to have some. The children of the night. Oh, what the music they make. So it doesn't matter what you got. I got some silver here that I had. I think this is silver or some sort of metal. And I got a base coat. Always use a base coat. Always try to use a black or a dark color. So first what we're going to do, give them a little spray at all angles with our base. Again, we're not looking for anything award-winning here. Voila. Just give it a second or two to dry. We actually want it to mix a little bit. I'm going to take, I don't know what this is. I'm assuming this is gray. We'll put a little bit of gray on there. And to finish up, I'm hoping this is a silver or at least a metallic color. And it is. Give a little spray over the top. Make sure we get the edges. All right, so here's the buttons we made earlier. Buttons, nails, whatever you want to call them. Let's peel them off. Glue gun. Dotted glue in the back. Bring them up here. Press them into your board. Now, what I'll do is I'll estimate the length of a board. I usually put one at the top and one at the bottom. And then I'll meet one in between. For a shorter board, just use less. Use whatever you think they would use to hold things in place. Thank you, cameraman.
I gotcha.
All right. There's a little one on the end over here. We'll just put one on this one. By the way, these boards are held to the wall with double-sided tape. Command strips, double-sided tape, whatever. Because they're on top of wallpaper, you can even glue them if you wanted to. But up to you, however you want to work it. And here we are a couple weeks later in a completed D&D room. And let's take a look. What we did is we ran those beams across the top, just under the wall. Ran them along the baseboard. And we did a couple miscellaneous uprights here. Let's take a look at them. They're going to get banged up. They're going to get dented a little bit like this one did here. Just throw a little bit of brown paint over the top and you're good to go.